This here is Boom Studios' Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic issue number 40. We begin on the front cover actually, with the emissaries discussing how realities are shifting back towards balance, picking up from the end of Shattered Grid, after the Rangers put their hands on the heart of the Master. The emissaries say they must inspect all of reality, ensuring there are no oversights this time round. So the emissaries may have a big part to play in the future. So now we actually go inside the book, and it's a recap of the end of Shattered Grid. Rather than going through all that again, you can just check out my video of Shattered Grid if you really need the recap or if you're new to the comics. And so begins the new story arc, Necessary Evil. I just hope that it's better than Beyond the Grid. Now then, the Rangers are in London, UK, fighting a flying monster, Nefurious. The battle is taking place on Tower Bridge. As the monster approaches them, it's stopped in its tracks by the White Ranger. So the White Ranger is finally here in this timeline, and it's the one we're used to seeing from the TV series, not the Lord Drakon White Dragon suit. And now that the White Ranger is on the scene, he's the one leading the team. Billy tells the Rangers to use attack pattern Beta 6, and for some reason the Yellow Ranger was surprised to see it. The White Ranger and Saba finish off Nefurious together, and we see some putties of a different design. They have the Z on their chests. In other words, Lord Zeds. If it wasn't obvious already, the White Ranger is Tommy. So, he's not dead. Great. And that's not all. As the other Rangers take their helmets off, we learn that Adam, Aisha and Rocky have joined the team. This confirms that there's been a time jump in the comics. Necessary Evil takes place after the original greats, Jason, Zack and Trini, left the team for the peace conference. Kimberly and Billy tell the others how Nefurious gave the Rangers more trouble than it should have, and that the collateral damage caused was far more than the Rangers' usual battles. So then Adam, Aisha and Rocky are still new to the team and not that experienced. Kimberly doesn't seem too happy, and Tommy looks as though he has no control. With the other Rangers gone, Zordon tells Tommy the truth and says that their teamwork was improvisational. In other words, they were pretty bad. And Tommy knows it. He's not the leader that Jason was, but Tommy's powers are still new to him, and the powers are making him feel different from before. From the conversation he has with Zordon, it sounds like the premise of gaining the White Ranger powers were the same as the original TV series. Now we see the Moon Palace, and again, because of the time jump, Rita's no longer here. Instead, we see Lord Zed. So this is his first scene in the comic book series, and we do hear what Zed was up to and why Rita's no longer there. Again, it sounds like everything is the same as what happened in the original TV series. He banished Rita after she continually failed to defeat the Power Rangers. The fans of the original TV series will be able to cope with the time jump. However, those without that knowledge of the events of the original series will struggle to cope with the time jump. Now we see Aisha, Rocky and Adam taking on some putties downtown. Kimberly's Firebird takes out some putties on the ground to help the Rangers out. A subtle reminder for the long-time fans that we've got the Thunderzords now, not the Dinozords. For this mission, the Rangers need to get the civilians to safety. Now, Kimberly told the Rangers she'll provide them with cover from her Firebird, but Aisha sees that the path on the right looks safer and decides to lead the civilians out that way. And so the Rangers get captured by Zed's putties and everyone dies. Billy and Tommy were watching them in a simulation in the pocket dimension. It was actually a no-win scenario, so either way the Rangers would have lost. Billy tells Tommy the outcome was close to what the original Ranger team had in terms of cohesion, but Tommy says they can't just be close. He wishes that Jason, Zack and Trini were there. Not only was Jason the better leader, but along with Zack and Trini, they were more experienced. At school, Aisha, Adam and Rocky are discussing how difficult it is for them to be newly transferred students, replacement Power Rangers, and having to keep the secret from their parents. Aisha's taking it harder than the others. We saw earlier that Kimberly wasn't happy with the new Rangers' performance. Aisha thinks that considering they're new to the team, they are doing pretty well, but she feels that no matter what they do, it's never quite good enough. Although I don't like her attitude, I do like how realistic this is. In the TV series, the new Rangers joined and everyone was happy. In the real world though, when new people join anything, like a new manager joining the company, they might not fit in with the company, and they may be disruptive to that company. The situation here is kind of the same. on the moon now, and Zed has gone all black market, something you wouldn't have seen in the original series for sure. The putties are all lined up and some mercenaries drop off a crate for Lord Zed. The mercenaries take the payment and the crate opens. An individual emerges and Zed seems to know him. He's called Dane, and he killed 6 of the mercenaries on the way here. Lord Zed has brought him in as a contract killer, one contract to kill multiple targets, the Power Rangers. Dane tells him he doesn't usually take small jobs, but for Zed, he's willing to negotiate. And if you look at him, he's a Syrian like the Krugers from the Power Rangers SPD series. So, same race, but most likely of no relation. Back to Earth, and we see Skull introduce his sort of girlfriend Candace to Bulk. So, with the time jump, there's been a development in Skull's love life, which is good for him. We learn here from Ernie that Tommy took over from Jason's karate classes. It's not very significant, but it's good that we get these subtle things to address what happened after Jason, Zach and Trini left the team. This being a modern take on the classic series, Billy is ready for a video chat with them on his smartphone, but just as he gets ready, Tommy gets up and leaves. Apparently he's upset that Jason, Zach and Trini left for Switzerland to talk peace, whilst the other Rangers remained to fight the war against Zed. And so we see the original 3 on Billy's smartphone. We never got this on TV because the actors were let go at this point of the TV show, so it's great to see them here continue in the comic. The reception is rather poor though. It's a bit strange why that would be the case. It's also fairly strange that we can only see their faces and not their lower bodies. Jason says it's because they're pretty far off the grid, as we see them standing in new Ranger suits. That brings us to the end. Well, that was quite surprising. I have to say I was looking forward to Necessary Evil after the disappointing Beyond the Grid. After a few pages and learning that Tommy was brought back to life and the new Rangers had replaced the originals, I was thinking of abandoning the series. However, seeing Jason, Zach and Trini with their new Ranger powers, I think I'll stick with the comics a bit longer. Tommy's revival was a cop-out, but I guess we sort of saw that coming, because even though the emissary said things would go back to the way they were for the majority, in Go-Go Power Rangers Kimberly shot Tommy, so in that moment that must have changed everything. The time jump was quite sudden. I was thinking we'd see what happened to the Rangers at the end of Beyond the Grid, but none of that was addressed. I certainly didn't expect to see the revised Mighty Morphin team, so it looks like I'll continue reading Necessary Evil just to find out more on Jason, Zach and Trini's new powers.